I am Bera,
And I'm Albert.
and we are students at Study and Work program, and we are going to make a presentation about awareness of the progress from a student's perspective. And as a members of the Study and Work program, we were assigned to do a research and a presentation as well. And we decided to do it based on surveys because we are talking about students, and we did 54 surveys, and 36 of the students of IHL were interviewed, and 18 of them just filled in a questionnaire. And we just asked 10 questions. Actually, during the interview, we had some difficulties, like some of the students said, I don't have time, I can't read. Maybe some of them said, I don't want to do it, but most of the students were really helpful, and it was a very, very good experience for us actually. And I'm passing over to Albert.
We've seen in our presentation that most of the students interviewed are satisfied about the level of the class they're assigned to, which is, I think, a good achievement for the school. But few of them disagreed about the results of the assessment test, which made them feel upset and quite disappointed. I believe that start a class with bad feelings, it's not good in order if you want that the students will make a lot of progress. And if you find the class boring and maybe not stimulating, you'll not be emboldened in improving your skills and your level of language.
Student self-assessments of progress. Actually, at the interview, we asked to the students that how much progress do you think you have made since you came here? And the majority of them answered more than I expected. And a minority of students answered as I expected. Actually, nobody chose the disappointment option. That was a good result. And only 3 students chose a lot more than expected option. And actually, the results show us that the students are satisfied with the school, with the situation in their school. And I can say that because nobody chose the disappointment option. And but also shows that school could do better because there are just 3 a lot more than I expected options.
We were also curious about how students practice outside the school. We've seen that now the students, since their arrival, speaks easier with a native speaker, for example, in asking information or for a quick chat. And in the speaking, now in the meanwhile, the students are now more aware of their mistakes. And another, I think, interesting sample is that 35% of the students interviewed have received helpful feedbacks from people outside the school. Some others now try to watch the films without subtitles and also to listen their favorite song and try to understand the meaning of the song.
And usually at the high levels, like B2, C1, maybe we can say also B1, some students feel like they're not making progress. And when I ask them, what do you do in order to break out of the progress? They say, I'm trying to read books, newspapers, and also watching movies or TV series or internet TVs. And also they are trying to speak with native speakers to breaking out of the progress. But I realized that students do not prefer to study more grammar lessons. This is obvious from the results. When I asked them, they said, I don't like grammar lessons, so I don't study more grammar lessons for breaking out of the progress actually.
We also think that the bond between relaxation and program is very important for the students, if not crucial. We've seen that 95% of the students interviewed believe the school to be a good place a good environment in which they can improve their speaking and their English. But unfortunately, there still are students that feel them tense and contract since their arrival here. These students we can see in another important but not representative example that the students come from Saudi Arabia and they not feel relaxed in their life in London. I think because they have a very different culture and they don't think that they haven't found a school, a good atmosphere in which they can practice.
And attitudes to exams from students' perspective. In order to classify students, there are a lot of exams around the world, like high school exams, university exams, and also to make them more aware of the progress. I think exams are very important about these topics, but some, but opinion is split in this school actually, we can say that, because some of the students who are between 16 and 24 thinks that consider exams boring and not important, whereas students who are between 25 and 71 consider exams as very important issue. But this rate, these numbers never change that the importance of the examination.
We also wanted to know how the students are going to maintain their level of English or even carry on improving. The most common answers were they're going to watch films and series in English. They're going to read newspaper and books and sign the vocabulary they don't know. Some others, they're going also to review the lessons, the things doing in lessons they've attended here during the time in IH London, which is, I believe, quite impressive and commendable. It's also interesting to see that just one of the students interviewed have chosen the option about the online lessons.
As a conclusion, I think, actually according to results, the school is doing well in different areas such as social programs, marketing, the facilities that the school provides us like libraries, computer rooms. I think it's very beneficial for the students. We have a lot of positive feedback from them, but there are still some students who feel like they're not making progress. I think that's an important point. Also, students need to be encouraged to exploit the environment outside school because they came to England not just learn English, because they can also learn English in their countries. They came to here to also learn the culture, everything. I think this is a very important issue.
Our last slides for your happiness, I think, is about some recommendation for the school. We deem that some extra tutorials after lesson, maybe twice a month, would be a good tool in order to make the students feel more aware of their progress and their mistakes. We think also that the school needs online tests, the online assessment test, to be more sensitive. For example, including listening part, in order to avoid students to be in unsuitable classes. Also, would be another good goal if the school would succeed in promoting better online lessons and training, improving alongside its YouTube channels. The presentation is finished. Thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask us.
How many students did you interview?
54.
Were there any surprising results for you?
Not exactly. We can say maybe about the 3 students from Saudi Arabia, which we consider an interesting sample, an interesting point for the school.
And were you able to work out why they were unable to relax, or they felt that the school did not have a relaxing atmosphere?
I think that the the reason is for the difference of our culture, and it's quite difficult to force the other students to help students maybe from Saudi Arabia to have a good relations to each other. It's quite a difficult point, though. I wouldn't say to answer to that.
And there was an also surprising thing when we were interviewing. There was an recommendation part, and a guy wrote there why there is no Egyptian book, Egyptian mythology book. Actually, the recommendation was about how can we improve school more. But this recommendation was very surprising for me when I see it. I laughed a lot. So thank you for listening again.
Yes, just a comment. I think, especially for students that stay here for longer times, if you come for a week, no problem. But if you come for 12 weeks, I understand. I think that it would be interesting if teachers could communicate to each other, and in order to make to be conscious of the progress or the absence of progress. And I think also that this should be mandatory when you have a one-to-one class, because sometimes you think the one-to-one, it's okay, it's good, because you are talking, you are listening, but the teacher doesn't know anything about you. So I think I know sometimes the teacher they come specifically to give the one-to-one, but maybe there should be interesting to have a kind of report as comparing if you are sick in a hospital, the doctors are coming, different doctors, but they have written notes about, oh, she has this or that medicine, she's improving or he is improving. So this will be okay. It's just a comment. I think it's not a criticism, but just a way to improve the efficiency of